Welcome to After Hours Ag. This is Matt Fall, your host, and I've got John Fransen with me in a Fendt 1167 tractor. We are in your office.
In the office. That's good. This is the office.
Yes, and it's a great view.
Yeah. Awesome view.
We are currently putting fertilizer down, I understand, ahead of your corn crop going in here. It is, middle of April. Not the greatest temperature at the moment, but it's good enough to go. And John has been willing to jump on here and share his story, answer some questions, enlighten us on his past, and probably has some fun stories for us. But how I met John was through a product we sold you and wish we maybe didn't sell you. We'll say that. He's got a Horsch Anderson, or a horse drill. He's got a horse drill behind us.
Strictly Horsch now.
Yep, 60-foot Horsch Panther behind us. And it's a 500i cart. And they reached out to us after hearing about us to install their primary hose, their secondary hose, and then some blockage sensors on their fertilizer runs, which was great. That's all awesome. We're really thankful for that. But what happened was, hopefully long story short, was the primary hose, which is a 5.5-inch hose, wasn't really 5.5 inches when we bought the hose from the dealer and it came right from Horsch. It turned out to be 5.6 inches. And I don't know if you're listening and you've had this issue ever, when something just doesn't fit right. Well, it's not easy to take large primary hose off and put it back on. And we've been out here a few times. I think Jesse and I came out here a couple days ago, and it was the fourth time our company had been out here to solve this problem, and we ended up just building it up with tape on the tubes. And I'm happy to report it works.
It works, and it's working fine. It seems to be doing the job it's supposed to.
Yep. So we're really glad, thankful for that. We're thankful that you guys had the patience and we had the time, because we started in the winter.
Yeah, we did last fall.
Fall.
Late last fall, yeah.
Yep. So anyway, what happens when you go through tough times or situations like this, you can grow closer together. You can either get really mad at each other, or you're rubbing shoulders, you're in the trenches, and you're going through a challenging time, but you're in it together. And I think that happened here. I haven't heard any of the negative besides the time lost, but we figured it out. We did it together. Even when Jesse and I came, Brian, John's son, and John came out and worked on it with us practically the entire day. You probably saw our hopeless situation.
Yeah.
And you wanted to go.
We wanted to go, yeah. We wanted to go, but we wanted it to get done right and be ready to go when it was time to go. But no, these Ready guys have been very, very easy to work with, very helpful. They come back, they call, is everything working okay? They want to know. They're on top of everything. They stay on top of what they do, what they sell, the work they do. So we're well pleased, very happy with them.
I can confirm that it really matters, the end result, the customer experience. If something doesn't go right, I take it personally. If you're not happy, if I can't solve it, boy, that's normally I can solve anything. Whether it's, hey, let's just agree to disagree and probably take a hit on the pay or something. But most of the time, we can solve it. We can get people up and running, and that's our goal. And that's why I think we are doing some good things out there. But got to know John that day on Monday here, and we came back through after going to Montana and Alberta. And they're in the field seeding. Really glad we can check on you, see that it's working good. John, a couple questions for you as we get into this and learn more about Fransen Farms and your history. First of all, give us a little background about how you guys got started. What generation farmer are you? Things like that, if you want to share what kids are involved.
Sure. I'm third generation. My grandfather homesteaded, came from Sweden in 1898, homesteaded the farm where my wife and I live, where our kids grew up, where my dad grew up, and Dad expanded, Grandpa expanded, I have expanded, and Brian is, we're just growing the farm. This area, McLean County out here by Cole Harbor, Underwood, Riverdale area, has been very good to us. Very good area. Very, very good. Crops have been good. Yeah, there's times some things don't go like we want. We have, don't get the rain or a hailstorm comes through. But for the most part, it is, I think one of the best places in the country to live and to farm.
Great.
It's been very good. The farm has been very, very good to us.
So was your great-grandfather, you said, homesteaded here?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather.
My grandfather, John.
You're really thankful that your grandfather, John, picked a good spot.
He picked this area. He had a brother that was here a couple years before him. We farm that farm as well right now, but yeah, they picked a very good area. They came from Sweden. Time for tough over there, not a whole lot of opportunity. So, well, back in the late 1800s, they hopped the ship, and here they are.
Yeah.
Or here we are.
Is there any stories that got passed down of the journey or challenges?
When my grandfather arrived, he arrived in New York, came up through Canada, ended up in Winnipeg. He had a job lined up out on a ranch out here west of us, what is now under Lake Sakakawea. But the rancher was going to pick him up in Bismarck. He got to Bismarck and had to spend a few days down there. Rancher had some things to do, errands to run or whatever. And when Grandpa got to McLean County, he had 50 cents in his pocket and clothes on his back and a small trunk that he brought with him from Sweden.
And no fallback plan.
No fallback. There was no fallback plan. There was no plan.
Didn't have family to hit.
Nope.
Can I borrow money or?
Nope.
Help
We had a
out?
brother that was here helping him. Found a quarter that looked good to him, and just perseverance, hard work, determination, just a lot of grit, and we're going to make this go. So, yeah. So here we are. He succeeded very well.
Right away.
Yep. Things got better right away. Good. Right now we're running out of fertilizer. See how those things come up?
All right.
They have to go back and fill.
This is a great example of how the blockage system, the Intelligent Ag wireless blockage system, is a good thing to have on your machine. We're going down the field here. We knew it was coming up soon. Looked at the monitor. Sure enough, we're running out. Time to go fill. So we're going to pause this. We'll be jumping right back in the tractor here after this short break.
We are Ready, your air seeder experts. For us, seeding is believing, which is why we offer every farmer a free inspection. We will help you optimize your equipment for seeding season to prevent breakdowns and downtime, which can help save you money. Contact us today at ready-ag.com or call us at 701-205-1485 to schedule your free inspection. Here at Ready, we're with you during your most important pass of the year.
All right, we are back after that short commercial break. I hope we did have a commercial in there. Maybe a Ready commercial.
A Ready commercial. There you go. That's what you need.
That one would be free because it's our podcast, right? But no, we just went and filled, and we're probably going to have another break here where we got to jump to another field, but that's what happens when you're out in the office, in the field, in the tractor's office, or your office is the tractor. So we were talking about John's grandpa homesteading out here, and he made a go of it, succeeded, and then all of a sudden there's another generation, his son, obviously.
Yep.
And then you.
Yep. That's where we're at. And then we've got Brian coming behind us, and hopefully one of his boys along with him after I'm done.
So you're third generation.
I'm third.
Brian's fourth.
Yep.
And then there's already a grandson that's looking promising.
Very much so. His name is Axel.
Axel, okay. Yep. Then you'd be fifth. That's awesome.
He would be fifth. Yep. And hopefully, that'd be his decision.
Do you see it growing where it's going to be your son only or your grandson only, or is there potential for multiple siblings to be a part of the operation?
There could be. Brian has 2 boys and 1 daughter. Axel's 8, Isla is 6, and Silas is 4. So a little bit of time involved there to figure out what direction they want to go with their life, if they want to be here on the farm or whatever happens. But hopefully at least one of them will come in behind us. But that's obviously got to be their choice. If you don't enjoy this, it's not going to work.
Yeah, and what do you mean by that? It's not going to work.
Yeah, you have to enjoy it. It doesn't make any difference what you do in life, what your job is, your career. If you don't enjoy getting up in the morning and going to work, life is not good for you. It's that's got to be, I think, it'd be an awful way to live.
Yeah.
But whether it's, salary, wages, benefits, or whatever, you have to be able to afford to do what you enjoy. Otherwise, life is way too long.
And I hear you saying that you found a way to enjoy this thing called farming.
I think when I was probably 5-6 years old, there was nothing other that I wanted to do other than follow my dad and grandpa and on this farm, and it's been good. It been very. My mind was made up way early in my life, before I was even through high school.
Have you had any times where it was so tough, or maybe it was close to breaking point, and you've maybe had a regret or a question of that?
No, never has that happened. Never, no regrets. Yeah, there were times when things weren't going as nice and as smooth as what we'd like, but stuck with it, and no, it all works out. It works out.
Sounds like it was never a question.
Nope, it was never a question. Never a question of what I was going to do with my life.
Very good. We, Jesse and I went through college, going to engineering.
Sure.
And the statistics say, I think 1 in 4 people graduate engineering, something like that.
Yep.
They go on to other things, or they click through. Well, it's not like they disappear, but it was surprising to me that would even be the case until I got into it. And it's like, wow, this is really hard. But Jesse and I never had a question about finishing.
Sure.
There was times I said, you might have caught me saying, this sucks. I want to quit, or I don't like this. But I never would have quit. I never even thought once I was going to stop doing schooling for engineering and finish. And so I think that sounds like your experience, where you just were committed to it. You knew that was going to be what you're going to do. And you get through any tough times that come.
Yeah, that it doesn't make any difference what you do, or if you're in school or you're working your job or whatever. There's always going to be parts of it that you just don't like. You don't like it. But yeah, the bad comes with the good, and hopefully whatever you're doing is the good outweighs the bad many times over.
Yeah, what are some of the good things that come to mind that you've experienced?
The freedom. You get to be your own boss. You do what you want to do. Yeah, there's times when things need to be done, and we all know that. But you do it on your time, with what you want to do. You don't have to punch a clock or worry about a boss. Or, it's just the independence of what we get out here.
Nice. Anything else?
Well, we get to enjoy this great wide open space that God has created for us, and just a beautiful country.
Yeah. A lot of guys, and I think this would be your example too, is getting to work with family, getting to work with your kids.
Very much so. Yeah, growing up, my dad and I were very close. We had some differences at times, I guess, but nothing terribly serious that we couldn't work through. And I guess I have the same with my son, Brian. Yeah, we maybe disagree on a few things, but talk it through and come to figure out. We pretty much know where each one of us stands and what we want to do and what we want to accomplish. So, it's a joy and a pleasure to work with family. And yeah, we have a few hired helpers, but for the most part, it's us doing our own thing.
How has that been as you've gone through a transition with your dad handing it over to you, or you taking it over, and then now Brian is in the wings here? I don't know if has he already taken it over, or he's starting to. How does that dynamic on?
For us, it has worked very well. Dad was, when it was time for him to slide out of things, the management more so than the work, he did. And he just turned it over little by little. I took over what he had done in the past, and doing the same thing with Brian. As where I am right now, I'm out here working. Management is all up to him. He will run things past me. What do you think? It's, what do you think about this? How would you do it? That type of thing. And it's worked very well. With me growing up with Dad, I knew where he stood on things. I knew what I had to do to be able to take over. Same with Brian. He knows where he stands. He knows what's going on. He's very capable. I have no issues thinking maybe he's not capable, but no. The farm is in good hands with him.
Great. What a blessing to have that.
Yeah, very much. It is. I know a lot of farmers don't have a son or daughter or kids coming back to the farm, or they don't maybe see eye to eye on a lot of things, and that doesn't work. It makes things really difficult. It just doesn't work to transition from one generation to the next or the next after that. But no, it's very easy for us. Very easy.
Is there a secret to having that success? Obviously, anything can happen, maybe with personalities or situations or opportunity. Maybe a dad and a son want to do something, but there's just not the opportunity and the availability in the area, or perhaps they fall in hard times for too many years. But is there a secret that you found that allows that transition to happen well, or that collaboration and that good handoff?
I think really you have to be able to get along with each other. Yeah, we can disagree, but for the most part, understand where each one is coming from. And you just have to trust each other and know that they're going to, and hope that they're going to do the right thing. And for us, it's been easy to do that. We know and understand maybe more so with each other than some other families maybe do.
Dude, how about if you were to be able to go back in time and tell a younger you some words of wisdom, or something to not do, or something to do, what comes to mind?
I guess I really don't have a lot of regrets. There are some regrets that I do have that I maybe should have went for things more so than I did instead of laid back and, well, maybe at times overthink things. But the regrets I have are the things that I didn't do rather than what I have done.
Okay.
So you just, understand and know what you're doing. Do your due diligence and make sure you know what you're doing, and just, if there's an opportunity, go for it. If opportunity comes your way, be ready to start knocking.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not maybe wait for it to overwhelm you. Overwhelm you for it to happen.
Yeah, no, that's right.
And what about if there is unknowns, and I'm sure you haven't succeeded at all the opportunities you've pursued or options or things you've looked at. What have you found over time has been the secret there, the words of wisdom there?
No, gosh, that could be, I don't know how to really answer that. Just as long as you know what you're doing, it's going to work out. But don't jump in head over heels to things that, we're not sure. Just know what you're doing. And be careful.
Yeah. There's some risk taking, but then there's also some conservatism of understanding the situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk involved with this game. We do what we can. We prepare the ground. We plant the crop. Nurture it on as much as we can, and then we pretty much turn it over to a higher power to bring it through to the end and into harvest. And we're very thankful that we are able to do that.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about a faith, a higher power, I'm thinking, I see you putting seed in the ground, you're prepping it, you're doing what you can do, but then what can you do after that? You kind of have to let something happen.
We just, there's not a whole lot we can do anymore. If we've done a good job putting the seed in the ground, fertilizing, preparing everything for the season, once that's done, we turn it over to a higher power. The good Lord will hopefully bring it through to the end. Mm-hmm. And for us, it's worked out very well. Just a small little glitch here. Our neighbor's got soybeans. We're a bare soybean field beside us, and with the winds we had this past late fall and summer, we've got some issues with a lot of his debris over in our field here.
That's free residue, but you don't want it all.
It is. It's nice residue to have, but creating a little bit of a problem on this edge of the field. But we're going to work through it.
Boy, that can turn into a dump rake really quick.
It can, and it's doing that right now. No, well, yeah, it is. See, we're going to have an issue here.
This swine bit. Oh, man. Is that where you're just going to freshen it up with some tillage?
I think that's all we can do. Then we'll have to just come back, go into it with a speed tiller or disc or fluff it up. Well, that's interesting.
How about any misconceptions that people have? Anything to speak to there? Things that maybe people blame farmers for or think about that you'd like to speak about?
Well, yeah, a lot of, unless you're familiar with the farmer, if you haven't had anything to do with the farm, Yeah, the farmers, all they do is put the crop in the spring and harvest in the fall, and then run around and have a good time the rest of part of the year, but it doesn't really work that way. The farming's a full year-round, full-time job. Sure, we have our off periods and off time, but for the most part, if you don't understand it, come out and we'll help you out, explain it to you so you have a whole different view on what we do out here and how it all works.
How many hours a week or a year do you think you average? Let's say 2,100 hours is a 40-hour work week throughout the year. Where do you think you're at in that?
We don't understand 40-hour work weeks. I guess I have no clue. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even begin to guess. But, in the wintertime, it's a slower time. We can maybe do a little traveling, go places, visit family and stuff like that. But, you're always... It has changed from what it was when I was growing up. We had a few cattle when I grew up, but after I got out of high school, we didn't have... if you didn't have cattle on the farm, just strictly grain farming, there maybe wasn't a whole lot to do in the after late fall, until early spring when you're prepared for the next crop year. And back then, when I grew up, we raised small grain, so we were done. Our goal was always to be done seeding by Memorial Day, and then done with harvest right shortly after Labor Day. I think we could, we'll just let it go. It's coming on and off, but it should be all right. We're not plugging up anything, so we're okay.
So you had cattle when you're younger, which means you're busier.
Yeah, we were.
You always have chores.
Yeah.
Were they milk cows or beef cattle?
We always had one milk cow or two, mainly beef cattle. But there's a story about why we don't have cattle too. Late 40s, early 50s, this grand plan was to dam the Missouri River. We are 10 miles from the Missouri, but when they built the Garrison Dam, Lake Sakakawea, and especially Lake Audubon, were going to cover part of our farm. Not so much me, but what my dad and my grandfather had. So, we all know what happens when the government is looking for land or wants land, that either, this is what we're going to pay, this is what you'll get, or we'll see you in court and we'll do eminent domain. Dad and Grandpa lost a section of land to the federal government, Corps of Engineers, which owns the land right now, or in the early 50s. Fish and Wildlife decided this is a good place for a federal fish and wildlife refuge, so Audubon National Refuge was established on parts of what was our family's farm back in the mid-50s. So there's a little bit of I don't know, sore spot. Had that land not been taken for the dam in the floodwaters that were created by the dam, that would still be, at this point, to this day, part of our farm. Dad and Grandpa got paid $35 an acre for it, and that was early 50s. Today, who knows what that land would be worth. Yeah. And that was part of our I shouldn't say the rougher land, but that's where pasture was for our cattle. That was part of the reason now that we do not raise any cattle. The farm is such that it produces a whole lot better in crops than at that time we could get out of raising livestock.
Tell me about your farming practices. Do you guys try to do no-till, min-till?
Pretty much minimum till.
Here we go, yeah.
We try to work the ground least amount possible. There are times when certain ground needs to be worked just to get things cleared up and working. But yeah, we when we put in our small grains, barley, wheat, the ground gets worked well. It's a one-pass operation. Fertilize, seed, move a little bit of dirt. That's where we are with this horse air seeder. But it doesn't move a lot of dirt, but it does move some.
Yep, and it's putting the fertilizer in the ground instead of on top of the ground.
Fertilizer goes down in the ground, nitrogen below the seed, starter fertilizer with the seed. But yes, it goes in the ground rather than on top and then incorporating like such.
Have you guys always done this, or was there a time you plowed?
Yeah, there was a time we plow, pack, and seed. We had two 5-bottom 16-inch plows with a packer and pony drill behind. That was nice. You smelled that fresh dirt as it rolled over. Oh, it was nice. Everything nice and black. Pretty, but just wasn't probably the way it should have been done.
How long ago did you do that?
Oh, many. That's a long time. I suppose, oh my gosh, now you're going to date me. Back when I was in high school, we did a little of that. That was late 60s and probably into the early 70s at best.
Okay.
But back then, we're raising small grains. And that was the way our system worked. We had a lot of summer fallow at the time too, and that part of that was with because of government programs that are.
So they would encourage you to
supposedly conserving. Yes, they conserving the soil, because after that you'd raise a whole lot better crop on summer fallow. After it laid idle for a year and you worked the ground, so you almost wore it out. And then we'd get erosion issues, wind, water, whatever. And they'd come up with different programs to try and make that
We've got a peep in the background because we had a plugged run, probably from that bunching of all that.
It probably was
soybean residue, but it looks like it cleared out.
Picked itself out.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's always nice when you don't have to stop.
Yeah, get out. Let's keep going. So you've gone from plowing. What tractor pulled the plows?
Gosh, I got way back when I was young, we had a WD-9 International, first decent tractor we had. Before that, Dad had two W9s, Internationals, that he farmed with. The WDR9 was the first tractor I really drove and used in the field. And I got to run that tractor because it had a hand clutch. and I was too young and didn't have enough strength or leg length to reach the clutch. So it had a hand clutch, and it was easy to drive, easy to operate.
Okay.
And then after that, we had two 806 Internationals, and kept moving up from there. We were always pretty much international. My dad had a good friend who he grew up with, and actually, he grew up out in where Flexi-coil is now, on actually Mallard Island, which is right out here in front of us. But all that whole island out there.
Oh, yeah. It's cool when you talk about this stuff, we can actually see it.
Yeah, Mallard Island is, it's around 2,500 acres. And it was a little bit of a higher spot on the ground when the lake filled up. It created an island. They used to farm out there. It's controlled pretty much now by Game and Fish. North Dakota State Game and Fish Department. And, they do food plots for the wildlife and that thing. And
did you call it that first diesel tractor with the hand clutch? Did that have a cab on it?
no, there was no cab.
Okay.
Back then, no. So you sat out there in the open. Yeah, I guess it was cold and it was hot, but
Well, like you might be in the field like a day like today.
yeah, and you had a big heavy. You had your coveralls on, your insulated coveralls, heavy parka. Your hood was on, but if it was time to be out there, if you were seating or whatever, it didn't make any difference what the weather was. You were out there.
You didn't pick your day.
We didn't pick our days. No.
Those days, for the seeding or planting or tillage, you were out there.
Yep.
Because right now it's got to be 40 in the 40s and windy.
Yeah, I think we're 52 degrees right now.
52,
but
warmed up a little.
But we've got a nice stiff north wind, and there's still ice out here on Flexi-coil, and that's north of us. So that wind is blowing across that ice sheet and keeping kind of chilly out here.
It definitely feels cold.
But fortunately, we're sitting in a nice, like you say, office. Nice cab here.
This is one of the nicest ones.
Oh, everything is good here.
What's been your favorite tractor? Was it that first diesel?
My goodness. I guess the favorite right now is the one I'm in right now. But I don't know. We had a lot of good tractors over the years. Of course, the equipment has changed. You know, they'll last so much longer now than they did back then. Back then, if you had a couple thousand hours, 3,000 hours was a lot of hours on a tractor. It was time to trade. And hopefully at the time that it was time to trade, you were financially able to do that. And you did it. So, but yeah, oh my goodness. I couldn't even begin to think of the number of tractors we had through the years growing up.
Sounds like a few of them stand out, though. This one's really nice and lots of horsepower. And then that first one, you remember driving?
Oh yeah, and then around the yard we had an A International that mainly was a little bit of a play tractor for us kids to run and play with and drive. But yeah. I don't know. We had a lot of good tractors over the years, but there are some that stick out that I'm sure glad we don't have that one in here.
Yep.
And that was one of those first ones that came with a factory cab. Of course, no insulation, solid steel. That's why I can't hear very well. I don't. And right now I don't have them, but I do have hearing aids. I don't have them in when I'm out here in the field. got a lot of turning around here. So if you're wondering what's going on, we're finishing up this little corner.
We're testing John's abilities to multitask.
Yeah, and sometimes that as you age, that doesn't work real well.
So far, I think you could do this in your sleep. At least with my eye.
I could run this machine in my sleep, but I couldn't be sitting here talking to you, Rock.
Right. I gotta be full attention then.
Yeah, but no, it's
Anything you're looking forward to in the near future?
oh goodness. I guess what I would really look forward to is one of the grandkids taking over this farm after Akbar. That would be that would really be. It would be great. It'd be a really great feeling to know that that's going to happen, and hopefully I can live long enough to see that happen.
Yeah.
Should be able to make it work with a good health.
Okay, hang on. We're working on this podcast. You can figure it out. Figure out what you want to do, and that's fine. That'll work.
And your oldest grandson... Oh, sorry.
When I get, looks like we got a seagull with the drone. When I get done here, I'll do the test plot. We'll leave Norwood's out.
Yep. Oh, he could. Oh.
Okay. Maybe hang on a little bit. I'm just so I make sure I have enough. I should have. I have plenty. I think. No, I should have plenty. I'll have plenty to go down there. Just figure out the rates.
Yeah.
Okay. Then being changed in the trade.
Okay. That's a nuisance.
That power line?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a few of them in here.
Yeah, look how they run at kitty corner.
Huh.
We understand people have to have the electricity and power, but
Yeah. You got to work around them
you got to every time. Yeah. And then with the equipment getting so big, we got to be really careful. You don't want to hit one of those poles.
No. No, your oldest grandson with Brian is Axel, you said?
Axel.
Axel? Does he ride with you very often?
He does. Especially combining. He'll spend days with me on the combine. What we're doing right now, seeding, there's not enough going on for him to watch and, just gets a little bit hoary.
Yep.
But when we're combining, there's lots of activity. The hopper's getting full. The auger's got to come out. So he sits in my lap and drives and pushes the buttons, hits the auger, make sure the cart is underneath,
Probably helps on the radio.
header up, header down, hit the GPS, hit the gates. Yeah. No, he enjoys, in fact, all three of them like to come out there parts. Or another thing they like to do is ride, and I don't do so much of this anymore, is ride in the sprayer. It's going fast, and there's lots of things going on. I guess with kids, the faster, the better.
Has that always been the...
It's kind of like Matt here. He's, he's got his snowmobiles. He rode dirt bikes or sport bikes and all this kind of stuff.
Guilty.
The faster, the better.
I've grown out of the sport bikes, though.
I never had a sport bike. We had dirt bikes, and right now, Harley Davidson's in the shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think once the kids grow up, I might consider that again. I just never drive them anymore.
Yeah. Once.
So,
And I didn't do that when the kids were young. I just didn't do that. But once they got blown up, yeah, it's dangerous. It's not, things can happen.
very cool.
So, yeah, now I ride those big street bikes.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's been a treat getting to hear a little bit about your history, what you're thinking, what you've experienced. Really appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah, very good. It's been fun. Enjoyed having you guys out here and having you sitting here with me doing this. I will say it's been a treat to get to know these Ready guys, and certainly been a good experience for us to work with them and what they do, and customer service, whether it's machinery or whatever you do, you have to have that. If you don't have that customer service, well, then we go someplace else. That's just the way it is. So we appreciate you guys coming up and staying on top of things and coming back to check and making sure everything's working like it's supposed to. A lot of companies don't do that anymore. Salesman sells you usage equipment. Just have at her. If you got questions, call me and we'll send somebody out. But anyway, that's another thing with this Fendt tractor or Butler Machinery in Minot or Bismarck or wherever. Service is, I say, top notch. It's very good. And that's where the horse came from. That's where the Fendt came from.
Yep, sometimes it's not how good is the equipment. Certainly it has to be good enough.
Equipment has to be good, but the service has to be better.
Yep. I've heard many times farmers will, or really anyone in any industry will choose where the support is the best, where the service is the best.
Yeah, and Case IH has been good to us too, and we do have, actually we have more Case IH equipment than we do Fendt or Butler support machinery. So
Good.
But Case IH is very good. They've got a good store up here in Goose.
Well, I want to say you're welcome for the service, the good service, and I appreciate you saying that. And it encourages us when we hear those things. We like to share them with our team because sometimes they don't get to hear it in person.
Sure.
And it's, you can just tell. I always tell my team I'm just beaming when people say good things about what we're doing out there. It's certainly something that is very important to us, and it's important to our team too. And I'm thankful for you to be interested in our company, to do business with us as a valuable customer. And we're going to keep fighting for your business.
Sure.
All the time, except for primary hose is off limits now. If you need help on that in the future, you're going to trade your drill.
Wait, maybe there you go. Maybe by that time, man. And I think you made the point last week when you were out here. The hoses were all new. Everything's good. The year before they all wear out, the machine goes to somebody else.
That's right. And then if they need help with it, I'll call them.
Sure.
Which I might not call them on the hose.
No, that was an issue. The hose became an issue that I will say got handled in a, very good way. And it got taken care of.
Yep.
It just got taken care of.
That just like the school thing and the farming thing. It's not a matter of if we're going to figure it out, if we're going to get it done, if we're going to stick with it. It's just like how long and how painful is this going to be?
No, that's right. Yeah.
But that's how it goes. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. Most of the time we win. And that's how we continue to grow and succeed and help more customers.
And you're always going to find something that you're always going to have a glitch or something's going to pop up that we didn't expect this. This is not the way it was supposed to be, but it's the way it is, and you just deal with it, you fix it, and you learn from it, and you move on.
Yep.
You know better next time.
We'll be better next time, that's for sure. Well, thanks again. Thanks so much for listening and watching. If you're on the YouTube, we've got this in video form, but we also have it in audio. So thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more episodes of After Hours Ag Podcast. Please give us a 5-star review if you would. It really helps promote and share and spread the stories, these great stories of the titans of agriculture, our dear farmers who put a lot of effort and a lot of sweat, blood, tears, passion into their work, into the land. And it's a great way to grow up. It's a great base for our economy and our country. And it's certainly national security. So we want these farmers to stick around. We want this to be a continued thing we pass down to the next generation. All right. God bless.
Very good. Thank you.